only nation that employ on the resident of the earth.
Hey Osale, welcome back to Dickily Pirates Radio, where we explore the wild intersections of creativity, technology, and the human experience. In this episode 202, the guest is Nana Key, a designer whose work has touched some of the most iconic brands out there. Disney, Magic, The Gathering, the Pokémon Company, and more. From crafting robotic and electronic toys to creating an augmented reality wheel exhibit that brings ancient bones to life, Nana's creativity knows no bounds. But beyond the dazzling projects, Nana is on a mission. She's been diving deep into the relationship between design, memory, and technology, searching for ways to redefine how we interact with our environments, starting with a simple yet powerful problem: remembering where things are. Join us as we talk about the art of invention, the magic of design, and the unexpected ways technology can enhance our everyday lives. This is Meraki, the spirit of pouring one's soul into creation. Let's dive in. Hi everyone, today we are with Nana. Nana, please introduce yourself.
Oh, hi, my name is Nana Key. I've been the founder of an art brand called Poppygator for the past few years, creating all kinds of various wildlife illustrations for Smithsonian, Magic the Gathering, Jane Goodall Institute, and many more. And it's been incredibly fun. And recently, I've been thinking about how to create little technologies to help people find stuff, when we're always looking for things.
Well, that's great to hear. And our first question is, where can we find you online?
Oh, yeah. I guess I have an Instagram for my art. It's called Puffygator, like Puffy Gator, like an alligator. And you can find me there, or you can find me on a keepin.ai for the item tracking app that we're working on.
Great. So today's theme is heart, creativity, soul, or a Greek word I love, Meraki. And the first question has to do with our something we have in common, the love for creativity and the entrepreneurship too. Nana, as a fellow businesswoman and artist, I'm intrigued by your venture. Could you share the story behind Keeping and how it reflects your creative spirit?
Well, I guess it's like the back end. When we're creating things, we're in the flow of it, imagining our vision, bringing it to life. And then at the end, we might have a lot of stuff just lying around, all our art supplies, all the little tools we used. And then we can become overwhelmed in putting them away. You know that feeling. And afterwards, after we put it away, we can also forget, where did we put those things? So I was thinking about a way to use an app where basically it can look at what you're trying to put away, and it automatically recognizes what it is and where you're putting it, so that you don't have to worry about it later. You can just ask the thing, hey, where did I put my favorite brushes? Where did I put the oil paints? It'll tell you immediately.
Oh, it's amazing. This is the same space I used to draw and do my graphic design projects. And sometimes, it's hard to find where I put each element. I need to organize many times. It's amazing to find a solution for it.
Yeah, and once we figured it out, it seemed like a very common sense, very easy to use way to help people sort things out. And currently, we actually have the alpha version ready for testing. It's all very, very exciting.
well, I'm going for this venture because I think all creatives, of the use of visual arts, needs a little organization. In my case, I like to create in messy environments, but yeah, it's really good to have an organized place, minimum organization. Well, now let's talk about art and technology. As someone who operates at the intersection of art and technology, I do it too in a certain way. How do you manage the creative and business aspects of your work effectively?
I guess it's always a balancing act when you work in both sectors. As someone who, both of us, we work in art and business, that's a balancing act in and of itself. So I guess it's about being able to find the similarities in each, the connections, how each idea flows from one to the other, and how it can better, help us and the work that we create for others.
This is great. Well, yeah, I also operate with art and technology, but certainly is in a different way from you. I normally publish videos and my designs on social media. And I also create many designs to smaller clients, not the biggest ones you got. But the question is all about it now, collaboration with major institutions. Your partnerships are impressive. Congratulations. How do
Thank
you
you so much.
approach collaboration? Your partnerships with STEAMed organizations, I don't know if I'm audible for you, are
Yes, I can hear you
impressive.
clearly.
I'll need to adjust here my volume too. Yeah, now I can hear you better. Okay, I'll repeat the question if you couldn't hear me. Your partnerships with esteemed organizations is impressive. How do you approach collaboration as a businesswoman? And what lessons have you learned from these experiences?
Well, I'd say I'd give the answer that I gave to students at San Jose University in the different times that I was a guest critique at the finals. It's that no matter what you're doing, no matter where you're going, and applying to things, most answers will be no. And that is okay. And that is a good thing because you're not looking for your no's, you're looking for your yeses when you're out there finding work. Because if I was bogged down by every single no that was given to me, I wouldn't have gotten anywhere. I would not have secured positions where I could design electronic toys for the Disney company and all those types of things. You have to look at what your art is, what your passion is, and know that it is specific and unique. And of course, it will not fit into everything. Use every single no that you get as I guess, as another step to your yes.
Oh, it's an amazing answer. I think, yeah, when we are artists, it's really important to find our own creative identity. I think your answer has to do with finding our own artistic voice. Well, I don't know for you, but for me, it was a long path I had to follow until finding the place I'm in artistically. But when we find everything becomes better, not necessarily easier, but everything becomes better.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about your personal time and work-life balance. Balancing business responsibilities with personal interests, like feeding forest birds, sounds like a challenge. How do you maintain a healthy work-life balance as a busy person?
It can be very challenging sometimes, especially as someone who runs a personal business. It's not, 40-hour work week and working consistently and expectedly over certain amounts of time. Sometimes you can have a long break, other times it could come all at once. And finding that balance, although sometimes difficult, is achievable. For instance, thinking about if something has to be done, does it have to be done today? Could it be done tomorrow morning? Like the world is probably not going to end if you're very tired and something can be moved a few hours later. Different things like that. And also making sure to just step outside sometimes. A lot of us creatives, we forget just to step outside of our doors when we're really busy, we're really bogged down by work. I find that very important to do. Just stepping outside, maybe taking a few minutes walk and looking at nature. And that can really help too.
That's a great advice. To me, it's also a challenge to find the work-life balance because in my case, I'm a night owl. I never go to bed before midnight. It sometimes needs a time to say, oh, wait, I need to stop and just breathe and even meditate because we don't need to sit down and close our eyes to meditate. Many activities also help us meditating, unwinding ourselves. Just what I do.
Absolutely. Just finding our own little ways of coping with things and knowing that the deadline we're so worried about right now, we're going to forget about the same time next year.
Yeah. So now let's continue in this balance between now the again with art and technology. I think how it's possible. I know the answer in my way, but I want to know your opinion for this. How to the large scale painting and tech designs like holograms and robotics in your work. I will repeat the question. You have a diverse background in both large scale painting and tech designs. How do you balance these two creative disciplines in your work?
Oh, well, I guess it's about finding the creativity and the spark of imagination that both tend to bring. Even when I'm working on technological toys, they tend to have a lot of fun to them. They'll have cool effects like rainbow effects, sounds moving in these fun ways, and it's all about finding the different joys in both those types of mediums as well as one-of-a-kind paintings that one can create.
Awesome. And now I want to know just a second. I don't know if you heard about art therapy once.
Art therapy.
Yeah, art therapy. I think I'm far from my microphone. Don't worry, I edit these parts.
That's good.
Okay. I don't know if you heard about art therapy. I think it's a really cool field of visual arts. I really enjoy to use many art therapy exercises as a warm-up before I start doing my arts. And I wanted to know if you have a special ritual to start your creative process.
Well, sometimes I guess I like to put on some music, say hello to my dog in the morning, give him some pets, a little treat. And then also that's where feeding the birds comes in. I have a little platform feeder right in front of my window, in front of my desk, where I load all kinds of foods for them. Black oil sunflower seeds, we have blueberries, peanut butter, and the whole forest of birds comes and they just squabble for all the little foods while I'm eating. And it's just, I guess it's the excitement and the action, but with animals and wildlife that really helps and calms me down and gets me into that creative mood.
Oh, it's awesome. Yeah, the contact with nature is really good. In my case, I like to walk in the nature and do some gesture drawing. I normally do it when I travel. It's a great exercise and it always brings me new ideas, new and fresh ideas. So, the let's talk about the heart of the innovation. It's one of the elements of our theme. What motivated you to create Keeping, and how does it reflect your passion and creativity in both the tech and art worlds?
I guess the main motivation for creating Keepin was just to save time and energy when it comes to either putting away all of the various art supplies I was using or retrieve them later because it's trying to find these individual pens sometimes can be challenging. And I did a bit of research and found out that the according to lostings.com, the average person might spend 2.5 days a year just looking for things, and this could add up to about 200 days in their whole lifetime. So I thought that this might be able to help a lot of artists. We probably spend more time looking for things than average, as well as anybody else who needs this kind of help.
Great. Well, and what's your way of showing up for yourself every single day?
I guess showing up for myself, it also ties into showing up for others. In a lot of my art, animals are the focus. So showing up for myself means that I'm there to fill the daily feeders. I'm there to walk my dog. I'm there to provide for the local wildlife and as well as some gardening, if that makes any sense. It's like
Oh,
in my presence when others benefit from it.
you seem to be a person very energized by nature, by animals. It's really interesting because I think the most impressive works of art were inspired by nature, the natural patterns. Yeah, the trees, when we go to a forest, we don't know how the trees are there. They just are there. They are just there, and they grow up in the way they need to be. But I think there is harmony, there is equilibrium between each natural element. And the same thing, I think, with animals. Each animal has a role in this world, but in the end, everything is so harmonic. We can find harmony, and it's beautiful. We can find beauty in this in all this natural environment. I don't know if it happens to you.
Absolutely. I completely understand what you feel. It's like when you're going outside and feeling the connection between you and nature and the whole universe just by standing there.
Great. So, and besides the going to feed the birds and walking with your pets, do you have any other activities in your free time, and how do these simple activities influence your creativity and overall well-being?
Yes. Well, I guess even though I live in a fairly wooded environment, lots of nature around, I do take frequent trips to different cities, Boston, Manhattan, and all those sorts, for either personal enjoyment or to visit friends. And I guess it's having that variety that's good. Living in nature is great, living in the city is also great, but being able to go from one to the other so often, it really gives you a better perspective.
Oh, great. Given your involvement in wildlife conservation projects, how does your venture, Keepin, prioritize sustainability and ethical practices in its operations and product offerings?
Well, we are currently speaking with several manufacturers to provide the most sustainable ways of manufacturing these simple little stickers that can act as a QR code and help you remember which drawer has which thing. And along with that, it will help you have a better, it will help you have more mindfulness over what you have. People have different lifestyles, they may need more or less, but this will bring hope will bring forward a happier medium where people are less likely to overconsume and they're less likely to feel like, well, feel like they don't have enough when they can easily see how much they have. And as well as instead of buying things they think they have completely lost, knowing exactly where they are. So the amount that they save from not over consuming in that way and not stretching their budget is, I think, would be pretty helpful.
That's amazing. Now I have to share something. I talked about sustainability. It's one of the missions of my small design studio. I really like to show people that it's possible to make art with recycled or upcycled elements. Recently, I created a course called Sustainable Drawing to teach people on how to incorporate these sustainable practices in the drawing process.
It sounds absolutely amazing. Yeah, I've met multiple artists, and I know many in Manhattan as well. They keep stressing the importance of creating work with upcycled materials and such, because even in those aspects, it's like they've told me that, for instance, I have a friend who quilts with recycled clothing she obtains, but she doesn't cut them up. She finds ways to patch the clothes together as they are. And she says that they have
Mm.
more of a presence, like a personal history, so that even when she's weaving those kinds of tapestries, that they already have a history and a presence in of themselves and are stronger because of it.
That's a wonderful story. I'm also very fond of sustainable fashion. I buy many second-hand clothes, and when I can, I like to personalize. Well, I think it gives more personality to our wardrobe, and it's a great way. In my case, fashion is a hobby. I like to study fashion history as a hobby, and it's a way to be mindful. I really enjoy just modifying my clothes and creating something really different but fashionable. People can see, and I don't know, they can't imagine it's just something second hand and upcycled. Well, let's talk about the legacy and impact, because sustainability has to do with impact. Well, what legacy do you hope to leave behind as an innovator, reflecting on your achievements?
I guess for my business of animal art, I hope that it brings beauty and more focus to the world of conservation, doing things for the Jane Goodall Institute and the Smithsonian, as well as various other projects to heighten awareness of the natural world. And for the new one, I hope with Keepin to help people value what they have more, value and be more mindful of things, so that they are able to so that they don't feel constrained or overwhelmed with what they have and are more conscious of what they are consuming with the product.
It's amazing. Value is what every business people want, even if it's just intellectual value. I think it's really important. So let's talk about a challenge you face. Can you share a significant challenge you faced while developing Kippen, or any other project, and how you overcame it?
Oh, I guess, yes, I can provide. I have some answers for both of them actually. So, when I was first developing my art style and trying to market it, the challenge was trying to become a successful artist when you almost always only draw animals. I can draw people. I have drawn people when it was really needed, but when that's not your passion, when it feels more like it's a job rather than creativity, then that's not the best way to go. But through perseverance, you show people how much you love something, what unique voice you have in the work, and over time, they start to understand it too if you're willing to share with the world. And I guess for keeping the project has been going on for a few months now, and I guess one of the main things is just to have people understand what it is. I'm always conscious of new technology and how it can help people instead of hurting them or replacing them. And through the beginning, I had to clarify to people that it it is based off of something called non-generative AI, which means it does not generate content, it does not create things or replace jobs that people may have or things they might do. It only identifies items they have and can help them remember where they go later. It's less of an air tag for your keys and more of maybe for sports equipment or holiday decorations or art supplies you take out maybe once, twice a week, that kind of stuff.
Oh, that's a great answer. Perseverance is certainly a great skill we need to have, especially when starting a new business. So let's talk about the brand identity. You have worked with renowned brands like Disney, the Pokémon Company, etc. How do you ensure that Keepin's brand identity remains authentic and resonates with diverse audiences?
And that's something that we're hoping to keep that kind of thing going as the product develops. And how we hope to do it is to just tackle the fundamental needs that people have. Everyone has probably had moments where they couldn't find something, where they were probably late for something, and it affected whether or not they could make something on time and such. And we're hoping that with this product, let me see if I can answer this properly. Ooh, sorry about the nervousness. I guess it's just about thinking of the person who needs this, the pains that they constantly suffer because they can't find a simple thing they just need for a moment. And by focusing on that and the individual and understanding that individuals are so varied in their lifestyles, we hope we can accommodate for broader spectrums of humanity. For me personally, I do have some chronic health problems that can sometimes make mobility and perception difficult. So, in those times, if I had an application that could help me find things without having to physically look for them, it would actually it would actually reduce the amount of pain I would be having in those moments. And I have other friends with mobility issues, and I have some family with memory issues, and just thinking about the broader spectrum of humanity and how this can help is something we're working on and hope to continue to work on.
That's amazing. And technology is, let me see if I understood. So technology helps you in these personal challenges you have in mobility and perceptions, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. I have this thing where my nervous system, it sometimes gets very flared up, so that even I can I can technically see, but vision becomes hard. It becomes harder to focus for some reason. And in those moments, being a product that can tell you exactly where something is, be your assistant in that way, it could really help. It could really help anyone who maybe doesn't have a 100% normal body, and just spending a few minutes looking through stuff can be more difficult sometimes or even all the time.
Yeah, I think technology is more an ally than an enemy. In any ways, I think you are the second person I interview from technology field. The first one, he worked with AI, and AI is something many people they hate. I don't know why. In my case, it's so helpful. It's really helpful, especially when we are busy people and we have some difficulties to focus on something. The technology and artificial intelligence can really help us to get more productive, to make everything we wish.
Absolutely. And I think right now it's just because it's the same story over history again and again. Something very powerful comes out that can do many things depending on who wields it and how they use it. And then people are just afraid of it because they don't understand what it is. When I first announced this product, a lot of people were suddenly got angry at me, saying it was doing many things that it wouldn't do. And as soon as I clarified, they immediately backed off because it was just that lack of understanding and that initial instinctive fear response over something they don't know. But I'm hoping over time that when people understand that consciously using these types of things with the mindset to help people and being aware of any ways that it might cause problems and trying to negate those, that can be incredibly beneficial for people over time.
Oh, I completely agree with you. Mm. Let's talk about speaking engagements. You've spoken at places like San Jose University. What key messages do you aim to convey to your audience, particularly about creativity and innovation?
I guess that if you're worried that what you have is not like anything else that you can find, and that is actually an advantage. If you have something unique that could, I'm bringing a business term over into the art world when I'm talking to these students, is that you can be a first mover with those kinds of things. That your unique voice is an advantage, and to understand, as I said before, no matter what you have, you're going to get no's most of the time. And looking for your yeses is what is important, and what is even what the most successful people do. There is no one in the world who has never had anyone say no to them, you know?
Yeah. Well, recently, one of my guests was talking about Lucky Charms, and she said something really interesting, and I think it matches what you said. Be yourself, your lucky charm. And when you say to, we must find our unique voice and be the first movers, I think it also means to be our own lucky charm. Don't depend exclusively on luck or external elements, but our willpower.
Absolutely. You know, it's um, being ourselves can be more gratifying in the long run in general. And then to find success with that, if we pursue it further, that can be absolutely incredible. Because even if we find success conforming, there will always be something lacking in that.
Yeah, that's nice. So, let's talk about your morning routine. You are very driven by nature. So, what does your morning routine look like, and how does it motivate you for the day?
Yes. Well, because I can work freelance and I'm not on a set schedule, I almost never set an alarm. But because the birds are right at my window and they wake me up in the morning, I have to feed them. I'm usually up quite early, except for sometimes on the rainy or really like blizzard days, I get a break. Yep. And then from there, you have to feed the birds, and right now they're all bringing their new babies to come eat. So I feed them, watch them for a little bit, take care of my other animals and such, and then enjoy, I guess, a little cup of tea, a little bit of breakfast, maybe a nature documentary. And that's how I start my day.
Baby birds are so cute. I had
Yeah.
so. I think you have already answered this question, but I'll ask you anyway. What do most people misunderstand about your work?
I guess for my current work or for the new project, I could actually answer both if you'd like.
Yeah, please, if you can answer
Yeah.
both.
Yes, I guess for my work with animals, art, design, conservation, those types of things, I think people misunderstand that even if that is me, they sometimes think that is all that is me. And all of us are multifaceted. Even if we have something we love, enjoy, we see as ourselves and present to the world, sometimes if we're only seen as that, it can feel a bit limiting. And I think there was there was a bit of surprise when other people found out I was also working in technology. I guess, and I guess for the technology aspect, it's being afraid of what it might be instead of being afraid of what it is, if that makes any sense. Like taking a minute to read first, to read and then consider before decide whether something is worth approaching or not. I guess this speaks for, and this is something I have actually learned from after being responded to it, if it makes any sense. That makes any sense?
Yeah,
Where
it
it's
makes
like,
sense.
yeah, it's like being misunderstood in that aspect, being able to listen better. And though that part of my field is very early, I'm starting to understand that whether we like or dislike something, we should always be more willing to listen before we make that assumption, even for ourselves.
Yeah, it's when we normally live between two worlds. Arts and technology are not necessarily opposite worlds. In my opinion, they are very complementary. Yeah, there are many room for misunderstanding, some, especially the ones who are really far from these worlds. Um, I don't know. In fact, no one is far from art or technology, but of course, when you are watching something, is different from making art and making technology.
Absolutely.
So now, who has made the most influence in your life?
I guess, is it I think some might assume that I would answer, my answer would be non-human. It would be an animal, and they would probably be correct because I have a dog who is 14 years old, and people mistake for being 3 years old. I guess he's a larger than average Yorkie. He's about 13 pounds, and has more of a human-like attitude, if that makes any sense. I've had him for most of my life, and
Uh,
I guess it's
oh,
I guess it's I guess just having those in your life, human or not, to teach you to be more outgoing sometimes. Sometimes during days where I was feeling down, I didn't want to go out so much, he would be encouraging. He would come upstairs, he would bark at me angrily to get out of bed because we gotta go, he's gotta walk, and then as soon as we're out, I'm feeling better. And they're always there when you need some comfort, always there to bring joy to your life. And I guess my answer is yes, it's a dog.
it's a cute answer. I also had a dog who died recently, around
So sorry.
years ago. She was amazing. I love it to stay with her. She was so small but so smart.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
when you talked about your dog, I completely how dogs are humans' best friends.
absolutely. And just understand, anyone who has had a dog, and so many of us have, it's like they're special. They're just special. And me calling him one of the best influences in my life, I don't feel embarrassed about it.
Oh, absolutely. So, what's one idea that you think the majority of people get wrong?
I guess major life about the world. Ooh,
Oh,
that's a
yeah,
tough one. Ooh,
yeah,
let me
it's
think
a
for a
tough
bit.
question. I think about
Hmm.
the world is a bit easy or not.
I guess thinking that perhaps they are very, very different from everyone else in a way where they couldn't relate to them in some ways. Because we all have these experiences that we're thinking that's so unusual. How could anyone else have experienced those type of things, and how could I relate to other people? But that's absolutely not true. We all have very unique experiences in life, good and bad, and there are, I think, over 8 billion people in the world right now. To say that you are so unique in a not so good way that it could isolate you from them is simply not true. Finding Just going out into the world knowing that you are a completely human person just like everyone else. with human problems. And you don't have to worry about being wrong in some way because you're not.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't know, there are some people who are obsessed with being exclusive. It's only me, or just showing they are above because they have some different kinds of work or a different name, I don't know. But at the end of the day, why should we care about being so exclusive? We were all born the same way, and we are all going to die the same way. It won't impede us to live a human life, and I think it's good to find someone with some common personality traits or some things in common. It's really nice. I don't like to feel alone in this world. I don't know how about you.
Oh, I get you on that. It's we all have these moments of feeling really, really lonely and then feeling like maybe that's not normal. Maybe there's something wrong with me, but it's really not. Feeling lonely sometimes, that's one of the most human things. And when those things happen, we can do things that make us feel better either by ourselves or with others, with friends, get in contact with people and such. And I guess always understanding that everybody's human, everybody's imperfect, makes mistakes, and that's completely okay.
Absolutely. Well, my art and design studio has a motto called perfectly imperfect, because when I started with this career, I was a perfectionist person, and I learned that the less I worry about perfection, the better things become. I decided to make a studio with this motto, just to show that imperfections are also beautiful when we do it artistically. Well, and I think some people are getting my message because they watch my videos. It's really amazing to see that some people understand the message.
Yeah, e- absolutely. And it's like I get what you felt about that. When I was starting my business too, it's just this feeling that if you mess up once or stumble, that it's all going to be over. But it wasn't. And ever since then, it's we keep stumbling and we keep stumbling and then we keep stumbling up. And
Mhm.
and it makes us, it makes us see that the imperfections and human characteristics, little quirks that happen when we're out and about doing things, creating our stuff. That's what makes it all the better, all the more beautiful to look at and be.
I Let's talk about the advice for fellow creatives. As a successful creative person, what advice would you offer to aspiring people who are navigating their own paths in the creative business world? Well,
I
besides
guess
the other uniqueness.
Yeah. Well, I guess I'd say that I think I've said these things before, but don't worry if you're the only one doing something like you're doing that can actually be beneficial. Expect most of them to say no. No, that's what they do for everyone. Because when people are out there looking for certain works, certain ways to collaborate, they're only looking for one specific thing. Uh, and no matter how good an artist might be, it might not be what they're looking for. So just keep looking throughout, the whole world, the billions and billions of people, all the different opportunities. Look for your yeses, as well as perseverance, because even if you get a string of no's, it doesn't seem like anything is quite moving along. What I found is that through a lot of work in the early stages and even over time, you are building, you are planting seeds. And all these people I've known who were planting seeds for a while and not seeing any fruit being bared, suddenly started seeing them out of nowhere when things came to culmination, and it was time to harvest them, and they found success.
Awesome. So we are almost coming to the lightning Q&A, the final round of questions. But I really enjoy our episodes. I'm learning a lot. Let's talk about vision for the future. Looking ahead, what are your aspirations for Keeping and your broader entrepreneurial journey? And how do you envision continuing to innovate and make a positive impact in the tech and art sectors?
Well, I hope to, for the art sectors to continue to create different works for organizations that might need it. I'm hoping to work further with conservation groups. A dream of mine would be to do something for the World Wildlife Foundation one day. That would be absolutely amazing. And I guess for Keepin, just for us to continue working on the technology so that right now it's, I'd say it's mostly working, but we want to fine tune it, make sure that it's easier to use, better, even more accurate. And then having this roll out as something that can help a lot of people, make sense, and also is extremely affordable. We do not want this to be some kind of incredibly high cost technology that is inaccessible for many people. We'll also try to find ways to subsidize it so that it's pretty much, I'd say that if you have a phone, there are things you can use on this app and you don't have to pay anything. So we're very excited for that part.
Oh, amazing. Let's go to the lightning Q&A. The first one is, when did you first become interested in your current career path?
With the technology aspect, I'd say I became interested a while ago working on the was working mostly on the hardware components of tech toys. Like, I guess I was helping a little bit with brands like Bitsies, which are these little hologram, almost Tamagotchi-like things. There's an LED flap that moves up and down, and then it looks like a little character is animated in the thin air, and those are really cool.
Mhm.
And I guess from there, I thought about how new and emerging technologies could help in a way, just help people in general with different problems in their lives, but also being mindful of any problems that could come around. I guess heavily researching things, thinking about benefits and consequences, and then finding ways that this new and emerging technology could be like using fire to cook food.
Oh, great. Well, I'm really glad to when I hear people telling something from anime and manga, because I started drawing when I was 9 years old, and the first thing I drew was a Pokemon. So when I read Pokémon Company, I drew a Pokemon, and because I had many stickers, a sticker album of Pokemon, and then I decided to copy. And when my parents saw, they asked me, "Did you draw this?" And I told them, "Yes." No, you copied. You put a sheet of paper on the album and copied. And I told them, no, I just looked at the Pokemon and made this drawing. But it was really amazing to start drawing manga. But the one who introduced me to this world was a friend of mine, a great schoolmate. She taught me the basics of the technique, and since I learned to draw with her, I didn't stop.
I'm so glad you had a really cool friend that introduced you to, all these cool animations and stories and stuff when you were young, and being able to just look at something and draw it from just from the perception you have of it. Basically, you know about master copies, right? that type of stuff.
Yeah.
It's like people who are learning to draw for the first time, looking at what someone else drew and trying to draw for yourself. That's all part of the experience. It's all part of learning and growing and the enjoyment of art in of itself. So I'm so glad you were able to have that experience as a kid.
Oh, thanks, sweetie. I really enjoy to draw manga, and many people said when I restarted drawing in my 30s, oh, you shouldn't draw this technique. This is for teenagers, and I told them, no, this is for everyone. This is art. It doesn't have a certain age.
Absolutely. It's all about finding the enjoyment of it, saying art should be this and not that is against what art is in general. You know, art is everything that we want it to be.
Well, the next question has to do about it. What advice would you give to your younger self?
My younger self, it's okay, well, first I would tell her to be more mindful of certain oil paints because she did find out she was allergic to some. That was an interesting experience. Yeah. But other than that, I would also say my younger self was always comparing herself to other kids, whether it came to what she was doing or just her appearance, you know. Uh, Maybe this is something that some people around the world have, that maybe their parents brought them over from somewhere far away when they were a child, and where they happened to grow up, uh, they didn't look like most of the people, and there could be challenges there in comparing not just what is inside, but what is outside too. And I would tell her, don't worry about that. That your uniqueness in every single way is what is special and beautiful about you, and it is what will help you excel in the future. Never think of them as things that will hold you back, as things that are ever wrong with you.
That's a great piece of advice, and I must say, I grew up as the youngest girl of the classroom. Not so I didn't look so different from my classmates, but I was the youngest girl, and I had many bullies. So I know how cruel people can be when we have simple a simple trait different from theirs.
I'm so sorry you had to go through that as well. And it's just, I'd say, I'd say to focus on how amazing you are. Hold your head up high, and that if people act like that, even though it's horrible to go through, and I'm so sorry that you're going through that, it is a reflection of them, never a reflection of you. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. So, next one. If your life could take a radical turn, what would that be?
One other thing I wanted to be was, I guess, a paleontologist. That's, I think, completely out of the blue sometimes, but also has to do with animals, just older ones. So I'd just be going, out into the middle of the country, looking in the desert for bones and such of giant animals that existed back in the day. And I think that would be really fun. But also, I have to check how many years of education you have to get to do that. 4 to 8.
Okay, it must be really radical. Oh, the next one. What are three unique skills that helped you become successful?
I guess an understanding of different does not equal wrong, if that makes sense. And also knowing that every time you fall down and you pick yourself back up, you're stronger. So that no matter how many times you do fall down, it makes you come out for the better.
Yeah. Okay, they're really strong skills, and I would say I'm here in your birds. It's
Oh,
one of
you
the
can hear them?
most, but it's a great background noise. It's much better than mine.
I right now I think yeah, oh, I think those are the babies. They're crying for the mom to feed the birds right now. I'm looking at them. That's why they're so loud.
Okay, they are crying. God. Okay. Um, and the second last question, can you tell us one thing about yourself that most people aren't aware of?
Well, there might be a lot of that. I'll try to figure out something that's most interesting. I guess I know a lot about Egypt, like Egyptology and stuff. Like
Oh,
I
really?
can name I can name several dynastic female pharaohs of Egypt and all that kind of stuff.
Oh,
I guess that's a pretty cool thing, right?
yeah, it's really cool. I met an Egyptian once, and I told him I would be afraid of the pyramids, because I would imagine the. I think I watched many movies. I imagined the mummies, the pharaohs returning to life. Oh, I wouldn't go to the pyramids.
Oh, don't worry about that. I think the three Great Pyramids, there aren't any mummies in there, and people can
Oh,
actually go in there, but there's no mummies. So I know it's scary, but if you ever did want to venture in one day, you wouldn't have to worry about that.
yeah, I need to encourage myself to see the pyramids of Egypt. Well, and the last question, would you rather spend 1 year at the North Pole or 2 years in the Sahara Desert?
Mm, I guess North Pole, probably 2 years in the Sahara, because that's not too far from the pyramids.
Yeah, so it's I would prefer to go to icy places because I love the winter. But yeah, it's valid. You like Egypt, you would see the pyramids. You are right. And the Sphinx, I think it's a beautiful monument, the Sphinx of Egypt.
Absolutely. And I also think that there's like certain parts you can find ancient whale bones and stuff in the desert. It's really cool.
Yeah. I would love to walk on the camels and see all the sands. Oh, and this is the bonus question. I told you it was the last. DKLA's doors are always open to you. Would you come back one day if you could?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, I love talking to you. Thank you so much for inviting me on. It's This is actually the first podcast I've been on to talk about the new project and all these different things. And I'm really grateful that you were interested in having me.
Um, It's my pleasure. I always enjoy to talk with people from different fields. And do you have a final message to our listeners? Sorry, do you have a final message to our listeners before we finish?
Yeah, sorry. I think I had a bit of a connection issue, so I was having difficulty hearing that part. What were you talking about?
Okay, I repeat, no problem. Do you have a final message
Oh,
to our listeners? I think
hello, can you hear me now?
I can hear you. I can hear you. Sometimes your voice is breaking. Now I
Okay.
can hear you. Do you want me
Okay.
to
Oh,
repeat the
that's good.
question?
Yeah, there was a if you would like, hopefully it's all clear for now. Yeah.
Okay. So I repeat. Do you have a final message for our listeners before we finish?
Yeah. I guess enjoy life, take it easy, but also be like take action at the same time, if that makes sense. Take action, but take it easy. Get out there, but it's all right nonetheless.
That's a great message, and I wish you the best, not the best of luck, the best in your ventures. And I keep waiting for you to return next time.
Absolutely. Thank you again for having me, Leah, and all the best to you and all the amazing things you're going to do in the future.
Thank you very much.
What an incredible journey into the world of design and technology and human connection with Nana Ki. From her work on some of the biggest brands in pop culture to her innovative approach to memory and organization, Nana proves that creativity is more than just making, it's about solving, innovating, and leaving a lasting impact while getting some contact with nature. If today's conversation sparked something in you, be sure to check out Nana's latest work and follow her journey as she continues to push the boundaries of design and technology. As always, rebels, keep questioning, keep creating, and keep leaving your mark on the world. This has been DKLA Pirate Radio. Don't forget to like, subscribe, rate us 5 stars on Spotify, and share. Until next time, stay bold, stay free, and keep the signal alive. See you. Look at me.